Season 4 has officially launched, and it has some huge changes that could possibly change Warzone forever. And even a last-minute change to the update that went live 1 hour ago that people are pissed about. So today we're going to be going over everything in the Season 4 update, from meta changes to the patch notes, and more importantly, to why creators and players are saying this could possibly be the downfall of Warzone. First and foremost, let's get into the patch notes, and then we'll see why everybody is so pissed. So for those of you that don't know, Verdansk is getting a little bit of an update. They are adding a new POI called the Overlook. This building is kind of like Nakatomi Tower, and I think this is going to be the new hot drop. It has a ground level with a bunch of loot, a mid-level with a terrace, and the top level has another 5 floors of loot. That, on top of being the highest structure in all of downtown, I can see this being a really big hot drop. They're going to have cranes that you can interact with and move them side to side, horizontal zip lines that can go in any direction in downtown. And yes, it is going to be a high-value loot zone, so this is going to have a lot of money. But most importantly, they said that there's going to be a vault in this building that is going to give you some special loot. I'm thinking this is going to be specialist and some money. They added a new mode called Clash that I personally will not be really getting into. One thing to know about these new game modes like Clash. Modern Warzone tweeted out earlier today, Warzone will be testing new gameplay features and limited time modes moving forward before bringing them into the regular BR experience. Riven Software says they'll be keeping a close eye on player feedback about these changes as they determine to fully add them or not. Well, Clash is one of these game modes that they're adding different things. But sadly, this is not completely true. There are a couple things that made it into the update that are not in just limited time modes that people are mad about. Again, we'll get into it. Now let's get into what people are actually pissed about. I want you to look at this picture right here and tell me what looks wrong. You need a hint? There is no longer regular solos in Warzone. There is only Battle Royale casual, and people are pissed. Swag responded to a tweet of this with this, the dumbest I've ever seen. Metaphor responded and said, we went from having buyback/stimulus solos to casual solos, LOL. And even J-God, my GOAT, had some things to say.
Like I said, they continue to do this 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're getting this positive, shoot yourself in the foot. Positive, shoot yourself in the other foot. It's like, just, you know, somebody's got to be there saying, you know what, this looks good. And then somebody goes, well, let's just shoot ourselves in the foot. And then the other guy go, how about now?
My GOAT is always spitting. And again, they're not the only content creators upset. YouTuber Westy said, this is quite literally the worst decision I've ever seen from Warzone. Removing solos, why not keep solos? Just like you have with quads and also have casual solos. Baffling decision. True Game Data also responded and said, sigh, casuals was such a W, but now they're trying to turn it into a massive L by slowly removing normal BR. We do not want removal of core competitive BR modes. We just love having the option of playing casual for various reasons. Streamer Mutex said, wait, what the? They removed regular solos? We're joking, right? Modern Warzone responded and said, earlier today, we had a creator call with developers at Call of Duty to talk about all the changes coming with Season 4 of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. It was pretty evident to me that they're aware the vocal sentiment around replacing BR solos with casual solos would be negative. I'm not really understanding this one. They know that this is going to be a bad update and it's going to be received bad, but they still put it out. I understand that social media makes up probably like 2% of the actual feedback, and maybe they have numbers to back this up, but at the very least, to have normal BR solos and casual solos doesn't seem like that big of a crazy solution. Why they would take out solos, a fan favorite, completely, I don't understand. And you know Hunter, he always tells it how it is. He said, how Raven feels constantly making choices they know will get negative feedback. Call of Duty released a statement with this and said this: while we understand the impact this will have for players who prefer core BR solos, it is a compromise we're comfortable with given the large engagement with other playlist options. What this kind of implies to me is that maybe solos isn't as popular as what a lot of people are making it out to be. I assume that they have numbers to back it. I'm not saying it's the right answer, but hey, maybe that's why they're doing it. Let's continue in the patch notes now. There'll be ranked BR for Verdansk on all of Season 4, but in Season 4.5, they'll be adding ranked Rebirth Resurgence. For the first time ever, we'll be having 2 sets of ranked game modes. So if you like BR, you can play ranked, and if you like Resurgence, you can play ranked as well. They made some changes to the Gulag. Players will now start with a single armor plate equipped instead of just none. They updated ground loot weapons, pretty much reduced the drop rate of LMGs in Battle Royale ground loot, slightly increased the drop rate of SMGs, updated underbarrel and stock attachments in legendary assault rifles to better match their intended playstyle, and adjusted the possible optics available on assault rifles found in the ground loot. This is a good change in my opinion. In Resurgence and Plunder, they changed a couple of the ground loot perks. Irradiated is one, Shrouded, Low Profile, Reactive Armor, Armor, Loot Master, and Ghost. Loot Master is a new perk that they added that pretty much gives you a higher chance of loot. In Battle Royale, they changed the buy stations, pretty much changed it from 47 buy stations up to 49, and then they shuffled the buy stations around so you don't get bored. They added a new contract to Clash, which is called Search and Destroy. I assume this is going to be one of those things where they test out first on Clash and then put it to the actual BR. Long story short, it's going to be exactly how it sounds, Search and Destroy. You pick up the contract, it marks a 3-minute timer on a buy station across the map. Any one of your squad members can then plant the bomb on this said buy station. After the 30 seconds, the buy station will explode and you'll get a bunch of really good loot. The enemies will get a ping though whenever you plant the bomb, so they can go ahead and defuse it in 4 seconds, and if they do, they get the loot. If the bomb does explode, the buy station is only down for 1 minute. For flash grenades, they added a little bit of a buff to that, and concussion grenades. Flash angles increased by 20%, meaning that you need to turn further away from the device to mitigate its effects. Concussion grenades. Stun maximum duration increased from 1.61 seconds to 2.3 seconds, and then stun minimum duration decreased from 1.47 to 1.15 seconds. Pretty much making flashes and concussions a lot more viable now. Now for some new field upgrades, and this is only in Clash, is a door barricade. Pretty much you put this on a door or a double door and people cannot go through there anymore. You have to shoot at it, knife at it, or throw grenades at it. It's gonna be good for doorways to make sure that you can't get flanked from that direction. It will automatically self-destruct at 150 seconds, and it is only available in Clash mode, will probably come to BR later. Kill streaks, again, just in Clash, is a hand cannon. This is a high-powered pistol kill streak. I don't know how broken this is gonna be, whether it's gonna be a 1-shot kill or a 2-shot kill, but again, in Clash first and then possibly in BR later. They made some adjustments to Veteran, significantly increased resistance to flashes and stuns. For Mountaineer, they increased the fall damage reduction from 33% to 35%, and then they removed a wild card. They removed Bandolier completely. They said, we've disabled and removed the Bandolier wild card from all game modes, originally introduced to ease the transition from a backpack-based system to a streamlined experience. This wild card unfortunately contributed to a muddied combat experience by encouraging reckless items usage over strategic gameplay. Now let's get on to the good stuff, and this is weapons. First and foremost, they added the LC-10 back into the game. I think this will probably be meta. We will find out. Then they added the FFAR assault rifle back. I really hope this one is meta. They added the SX Model 07 marksman rifle, and then they added some cool new attachments. This G-grip foregrip seems like it's going to be meta. This is a vertical foregrip with an integrated laser that improves your firing, aiming stability, horizontal recoil control, and tighten spread when transitioning between hipfire and aiming down sight. I do think this will probably be meta. They added a Strider 3-round burst mod, an SVD full mod, and a TR2 CQB auto conversion kit. That was a general summary of the update that's coming today. And don't worry, we're gonna get into what guns change right now in a bit. But before that, let's kind of have a discussion on this casual game mode. Obviously, you saw that people are really pissed about it and people don't like it. I assume that Call of Duty is taking Fortnite's success and trying to replicate that. For those of y'all that don't know, Fortnite introduced bots and found a lot of success in their game modes. Their player count increased tremendously, and I think Call of Duty is trying to replicate that some way. I kind of had the assumption that BR casual was gonna be good. Nowadays, people don't want to try and get better, they just want to play and feel like they are good at the game, which might be a different topic altogether when it comes to like humans. But BR casual, I knew was going to bang, and I knew people were going to love that. My only concern was going to be what happens after the fact. Are people going to love it so much that Call of Duty sees that and decides to incorporate it into every single game mode? And then it turns into, do they add it to solos first, then duos, then trios? Then all of a sudden, every single game has bots, and there is no BR casual versus regular BR. It is just all BR casual. And sadly, it does seem like that's the direction that they're choosing to head. With them removing solos completely and making it solo casuals, I do feel like we're headed in that direction. I personally am not a fan of that, but I understand this is a business and they're trying to make as much money as possible. But where is the line drawn? Is there such a thing as too much money? And how do you find that middle balance between pleasing your actual audience and then pleasing the casuals who only play the game once a year? Don't get me wrong, the casuals are very important, but finding that middle ground I think is very crucial. Because I'll be honest, the true casual players, not the ones that are on YouTube, not the ones that are on Twitch, they probably don't even know what BR casual is, and they just feel like they're getting more kills than they normally do, which probably feels good. And again, if it's been proven to work in Fortnite, will it then be proven to work in Call of Duty? Again, I personally don't like casuals. I understand it. But when is Call of Duty and Activision going to stop min-maxing their profit margins and start trying to make their actual player base happy? Now, what actually defines a casual versus a normal player? I don't really know. For me, I define it as if you don't know what Call of Duty Twitter is, if you don't know what Call of Duty YouTube is, or Call of Duty Twitch is. You just play the game, have no idea who any streamers are, and you just play the game whenever you want. I'm going to give Call of Duty the benefit of the doubt here and say that they have some type of numbers, some type of analytics to justify why they do these things. Because to me, and to the people that I surround myself with, JGod, Swag, all these people, a lot of the times we agree with exactly what JGod is saying. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. They make a good update, then they shoot themselves in the foot. Charlie Intel tweeted out this: what are we even doing with these updates? Season 3 launched with a great update, stable release, good features. Why why are we doing unneeded changes? And I swear, this is a conversation that I have with myself all the time. Season 3 of Verdansk launched, and it was honestly, in my opinion, almost perfect. There was minimal to no bugs, and the game was actually fun and fresh. And then Season 3.5 came out, and there was an insane amount of bugs introduced. A lot of things that they fixed with the Season 3 update were then messed up in the Season 3.5 update. Now we have Season 4 update today, and I'm sure there's going to be an insane amount of bugs. But there is one thing that they just added to the game not even an hour ago that have people pissed. Call of Duty pretty much made this change. Enemies will appear as a red dot on the tac map when coughing in the gas, pretty much making it to where gas plays are now meaningless. Lucky Chamu tweeted out and said, whoever is making these changes hates to see players make gas plays. Not only were you already coughing loud, taking insane damage from gas, aim flinching from damage, couldn't see shit, players could easily see you, but now you're on a radar the entire time. What's even crazier about this is this has been in the game by accident. Yes, another bug. This has been in the game for a while now, but only when the circle closes. And we were all wondering, why is this happening? Is this a bug? And sure enough, it was. Iceman Isaac tweeted out and said, Warzone is becoming the safe space battle royale. No more skill gap, no more game sense, no more critical thinking. Just hand-holding players against AI bots. Ghost of Hope tweeted and said, what are we doing? Now, they didn't specify, right? But in my opinion, I don't mind when circle closes at the very end of the game to prevent people from just making gas plays and heal offs. I would like to see some gunfights. So to me, that makes sense on the last circle that you get pinged in the gas. But if you're getting pinged in the gas every single circle, no matter what, because now there is no room for any type of gas plays, I think that is pretty bad. Again, catering towards the more casual community, I understand, but it is what it is. If they decide to revert this and find some middle ground, I do like the whole last circle reveal your location in gas, but not throughout the entire game. There are other concerns that are being brought up by popular Rebirth streamers. Zyro said, Rebirth Island, Rebirth Island, Rebirth Island, Rebirth Island. When are we getting a new Resurgence map is my question. 5 years of this map with no changes is absolutely criminal. We need a new map for Sunrise. Lucky tweeted out and said, whether you hate Rebirth or love it, you can't deny it has kept the game alive for years. It's kind of a spit in the face for them to know this, but have had close to 0 map updates, no reskins, no LTMs, nothing. Hope we see some Rebirth changes soon. My opinions on this is we just had a new Resurgence map called Area 99, and a lot of people hated it. So I kind of disagree with Zyro that we need a new Resurgence map. I agree more with Lucky. We've known and we've seen this, that people love Rebirth Island. You can give them all these other maps, but player counts don't lie. But it does seem that Rebirth Island has far exceeded the player count any other map. I'm talking Vondel, Ashika Island, Fortune's Keep, Area 99. All of these have all come and gone, but Rebirth Island stays, probably because people love it. So I think the way Call of Duty is thinking about this is, why put money into creating a new map when the player base is not going to play it? They're just going to stick to Rebirth. So I agree with Lucky. Why not make it kind of like Nuketown, where they change it, reskin it, and add cool things and cool flavors to it to keep the player base coming back? At least in my opinion, it seems like players don't really care about any other map other than Rebirth. Now let's get into the weapon metas and the changes that were made. So for weapon adjustments, Raven Software said this: our current weapon balance goals are focused on refining each class's role. Our goal is to rework LMGs to become a reliable option for long-range engagement, while still being outperformed by assault rifles at mid-range. At the same time, we're giving submachine guns improved range to boost their overall viability, and increasing bullet velocity for assault rifles to make it easier to land shots at mid to long range distances. I actually don't mind this at all, and I think this could be a really good change. So let's go over the guns. The AK-47 got a bullet velocity buff, improved from 840 to 890. The CHF barrel got a vertical recoil penalty, reduced from 50% to 35. Horizontal recoil penalty reduced from 20% to 10. And the marksman foregrip, you're going to see this a lot in today's update. Gun kick reduction while focus increased from 15% to 25. So overall, an increase in bullet velocity and a reduction in recoil. The AIMES also got buffed. It improved its bullet velocity from 790 to 880. The aim out sight speed improved from 265 to 230. The sprint to fire speed improved from 190 to 180 milliseconds. The aim down sight moving speed improved from 3.2 milliseconds to 3.3 milliseconds. Your heavy stock got a buff as well. Flinch reduction increased from 50 to 55%. And combat stock got a flinch reduction increase from 25 to 30%. For the ASVAL, this got a buff in bullet velocity, increasing it from 815 to 860. The AMAX did get a buff and a nerf. The bullet velocity was improved from 820 to 860 milliseconds. It slightly increased view kick strength and deviation. I don't really like whenever they say view kick. This reminds me of visual recoil. I hope that's not what this is. Them adding actual visual recoil instead of regular recoil is what's going to kill this game. So I hope that's not it. For the marksman foregrip, the view kick reduction while focus increased from 15% to 30%. So that is a buff. The gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20% to 30%. They said the AMAX is receiving a slight recoil adjustment such that players may want to take additional recoil reducing attachments. However, its velocity is improving to make it more consistent consistent at ranged engagements. The Cypher got a buff as well, but velocity improved from 810 to 860. Marksman foregrip improved from 15% recoil reduction to 30%. Gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20% to 30%. The heavy stock helped increase flinch resistance from 50% to 55%. And for the combat stock, flinch reduction increased from 25 to 30%. The Goblin got a buff. View kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 30%. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 25 to 30%. And that is with the Marksman foregrip. For the heavy stock, flinch reduction increased from 50 to 55%. The combat stock, the flinch reduction increased from 25 to 30%. The gripper also got a buff. The bullet velocity improved from 780 to 840. The CHF barrel got a vertical recoil penalty reduced from 40 to 35%. Horizontal recoil penalty reduced from 20% to 15. The Marksman foregrip, the view kick reduction while focus increased from 15% to 25. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 30%. So overall, a big buff. Now the Kilo did get nerfed and buffed as well. Bullet velocity improved from 850 to 870 milliseconds. Slightly increased view kick strength. And I hope this is not visual recoil. The Marksman foregrip got a buff, increasing the view kick reduction from 15% to 30%. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 30. They say here the Kilo 141 remains a highly predictable and controllable weapon and now sees improved velocity to make it more consistent at range. However, view kick will now need to be countered throughout the entire recoil pattern. I really hope we're not taking the Warzone 2 route again. Now for the Krig, this did get a buff. Bullet velocity improved from 820 to 870 milliseconds, 15 to 20% view kick reduction for the Marksman foregrip, and the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25. Heavy stock got a flinch reduction increased from 50% to 55%, and the combat stock got flinch reduction increased from 25 to 30%. Overall, a lot less recoil. Auto L, bullet velocity improved from 800 to 850 milliseconds. The CHF barrel got a vertical recoil penalty reduced from 55 to 45%. The horizontal recoil penalty reduced from 25 to 20. The Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. The gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25% as well. Now for the Model L, the bullet velocity improved from 780 to 820 milliseconds. The CHF barrel got a vertical penalty reduced from 45 to 40%. Horizontal recoil penalty reduced from 20 to 15%. And the Marksman foregrip also got another buff. View kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. Gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. Heavy stock got a flinch reduction increase from 50 to 55%. And the combat stock got a flinch reduction increase from 25 to 30%. That is all your ARs. Now let's see what they did to the SMGs. Again, their goal was to extend their range a little bit towards that mid-range. The C9 got a maximum damage range increase from 11.9 meters to 13.2 meters. The medium damage range increased from 13.2 to 21.3 meters. And then the minimum damage range increased from 20.3 meters to 21.3 meters. Also for the C9, the 10mm bullets, the maximum damage range increased from 13.2 meters to 14.7. And the heavy stock flinch reduction increased from 50 to 55%. The Jackal got a buff as well. The medium damage range as well increased by 1 meter overall. And the minimum damage range increased from 1 meter as well to 19.8 meters. For the Jackal, the lower torso multiplier increased from 0.7 to 0.75. The aim down sight speed improved from 210 to 200 milliseconds. The Marksman foregrip as well got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15% to 20%. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25. The Compact 92 got a buff as well. The maximum damage range increased to 11.4 meters. The medium damage range increased from 11.4 to 19.3 meters. And there was no change in the minimum damage reduction. For the Compact, the lower torso multiplier increased from 0.85 to 0.88. Sprint to fire speed improved from 130 to 115 milliseconds. And the aim down sight speed improved from 200 to 190 milliseconds. So it does seem like this gun is going to be a lot faster than what it was. The KSV got buffed as well. The maximum damage range increased to 13.7. The medium damage range increased from 13.7 to 21.8. And the minimum damage range increased to 21.8 meters. Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. The gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. The heavy stock attachment got a flinch reduction increase from 50 to 55%. And the combat stock got a flinch reduction increase from 25 to 35%. The Lodger got a buff as well. There is no change to its maximum damage range, but its medium damage range got increased from 11.9 to 21.3 meters. And the minimum damage range increased to 21.3 meters. The Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. The gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. Now the heavy stock got a flinch reduction increased from 50 to 55%. And the combat stock flinch reduction increased from 25 to 35%. The PP919 didn't get any single adjustments to its ranges, but it did change a little bit of its profile. Got a flinch reduction increase from 50 to 55%. Heavy stock got a flinch reduction increase from 50 to 55%. Combat stock got a flinch reduction from 25 to 35%. The PPSH got an increase in damage range to 12.7 for the maximum damage range. The medium damage range as well changed from 12.7 to 21 meters. And the minimum damage range is anything over 21 meters. The sprint to fire speed increased from 125 to 115 milliseconds. The aim down sight speed improved from 195 to 190 milliseconds. Then for the attachments, the Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. Now for the SOG, the maximum damage range increased from 0 to 11.6 meters. The medium damage range increased from 11.6 to 19.8 meters. And then the minimum damage range increased anything over 19.8 meters. The Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. Also, gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. The heavy stock gives you a flinch reduction increase from 50 to 55%. And the combat stock gives you a flinch reduction increase from 25 to 35%. The Tanto got a buff as well. Maximum damage range is now 0 to 11.8 meters. The medium damage range is now from 11.8 meters to 21.6 meters. And no changes were made to the minimum damage range. Marksman foregrip got a view kick reduction while focus increased from 15 to 20%. And the gun kick reduction while focus increased from 20 to 25%. Now for the shotguns, the SG got also the heavy stock flinch reduction from 50 to 55%. And the combat stock flinch reduction increased from 25 to 30%. The Maelstrom got a maximum damage range per pellet from now 0 to 4.7 meters. The medium damage range increased from 4.7 to 8.1 meters. And the medium damage range 2 increased from 8.1 meters. And the medium damage range 2 increased to 8.1 meters to 10.16 meters. The minimum damage range did not change. Aim down sight speed was improved from 290 milliseconds to 265 milliseconds. The sprint to fire speed improved from 190 to 107 milliseconds. And the heavy stock attachments did do some changes. The flinch reduction increased from 50 to 55%. The combat stock flinch reduction increased from 25 to 30%. The Fang got an increase in range. It's going to make it a lot more viable from farther away. It did get a slight reduction in damage, but they did make its recoil a lot better, so this is going to be a lot more viable at range. The GPMG did get a little bit of a damage nerf, but again, a range buff and a recoil buff, making it viable for long ranges. It did get a lot of ADS speeds and ADS moving speed updates as well. The PU-21 got an increase in range and a slight reduction in damage, but they did reduce its recoil and make it a lot viable at longer ranges. The same thing for the XMG. It got a decrease in damage, but a very big increase in range. This gun is going to be a lot more viable at range with its reduction to recoil and increased mobility. The Burstfire AEK got a reduction to recoil and every time in between bursts got sped up as well. The DM10 got a buff to its recoil. The SWAT 556 got a buff to its recoil. The SWAT 556 got faster burst in between rounds and also decreased its recoil. The TR2 got better recoil and made it to where it doesn't get flinch as much. The Sarkov 762 also got better recoil and less flinch. The AMR Mod 4 got some changes as well. Anything from 0 to 114 meters, this is a one-shot headshot range. And they improved its bullet velocity. Now for the top 5 metal loadouts that I recommend for Season 4. First and foremost, I want you to go down to the FFAR. This gun is going to be meta, so lock it in for this class setup. First and foremost, I want you to go and put on the Volkanovski sight. This one is my personal favorite. What I personally do, I always go to the reticle and I change this to purple. For whatever reason, purple or pink, I like the way that this looks. Now, next, we're gonna put on a muzzle on this. From here, I want you to put on the compensator muzzle. Then I want you to go to underbarrel and I want you to put on the G grip. This is that new underbarrel that is actually really good and it helps with that hipfire ADS accuracy, horizontal recoil control, and recoil stabilization. I would say once you unlock vertical foregrip, you can go ahead and replace that. I do think vertical foregrip is going to be the better one here, but G grip for when you start off is going to be really good. Then for magazine, I want you to go ahead and put on extended mag 1. Once you do unlock the extended mag 2, make sure to put that on. Then head over to your fire mods and put on the recoil springs. This is the class that I personally recommend and it has absolutely zero recoil. If you go over here, this thing has zero recoil and bro, I'm telling you, the time to kill on this is actually nuts. Oh my God. Yeah, this thing is going to be meta without a doubt. Once you go ahead and unlock all the attachments, I would change the G grip over to the vertical foregrip. Then I would probably take off recoil springs and put something like a long barrel or the gain to his barrel, if you feel like you can control that. For the number 2 meta loadout, I recommend the Jackal PDW. With its new buffs, I think the Jackal PDW is going to be the best overall SMG. First and foremost, I want you to go to the barrel and I want you to put on the gain to his barrel. This is going to help with that bullet velocity. Bullet velocity pretty much just means that wherever you're aiming, that's where your bullets are going to go. There is no delay. Then for the underbarrel, this one is different. I want you to put on the G grip. The G grip, in my opinion, is going to be very good for that hipfire to ADS accuracy, and that's going to be especially good for SMGs. It also gives you recoil stabilization and horizontal recoil control. Next, go over to your magazine and go and put on extended mag 2. This is going to give you 50 rounds. And for the rear grip, I promise you, this is a cheat code. Put on ergonomic grip for every single SMG. It's going to give you dive to fire speed, slide to fire speed, aim down sight speed, and jumping aim down sight speed. But on top of that, you're going to be able to aim down sight while you're sliding. And lastly, go over to your stock and I want you to put on your infiltrator stock. It's going to give you that aim down sight movement speed. This gun is going to be very fast, but also have low recoil. As you can see, this thing is about to be so fast. I don't know if you can tell, my strafing speed is really quick, especially for those close range engagements. This one's going to feel really good. If you feel like that has too much recoil, go ahead and take off the infiltrator stock and then put on the compensator muzzle. This is going to make this gun have quite literally zero recoil, but it's going to be a little bit less strafey. So that's completely up to you. For number 3, with the new changes coming to the LMGs, you know we had to throw in an LMG for you guys. Now, this is going to be the XMG LMG. This gun is going to have zero recoil, and you're going to be able to shoot players from really, really far away with really good damage range. So first and foremost, I want you to go to the optic, and I want you to put on the Volkanov's sight. I'm going to go ahead and put this to purple because you know me, I just like it. One thing to note here is this will be an 8 attachment gun, so keep that in mind. Next, for the muzzle, I want you to put on the compensator. This is going to help with that vertical recoil control. And for the barrel, I want you to put on the gain twist barrel. It's going to give you increased bullet velocity. For the underbarrel, put on the vertical foregrip. This is going to help with that horizontal recoil control. Then head over to rear grip, and I want you to put on quick draw. This is going to help you aim down sight faster. For the stock, go ahead and put on the buffer weight stock. Now, for those that don't know, this is the only LMG that has the buffer weight stock. It increases your vertical and horizontal recoil like crazy. Now, for the laser, put on the target laser. It's going to help with your aiming idle sway, so your gun doesn't move whenever you're aiming down sight, and your aiming walk steadiness. And then lastly, this one's up to you. This gun already has 1,000 bullet velocity. You can choose to put overpressured and have even more bullet velocity, but have a little bit more recoil, or you can go the opposite route and you can put recoil springs and have a little bit less bullet velocity, but this thing is a laser. Look at this. I'm telling you, this thing is going to have literally, oh my God, literally zero recoil. Even from that far away, I can barely even see that guy. This thing has no recoil. I'm telling you, you're going to want to use this one. This one, in my opinion, is going to be very good for Rebirth. And it's going to help you with those high kill games. Go ahead and put on the Cypher 091. And then from here, these are the attachments. For this specific build, you're going to have no optic, so you're going to be able to save one more attachment. I want you to go to your muzzle, put on the compensator muzzle for the vertical foregrip. For the first attachment, I want you to go to your muzzle, and I want you to put on the compensator muzzle for the vertical recoil control. Then go over to your barrel, and I want you to put on the gain twist barrel. This is going to help with the bullet velocity. Then for the underbarrel, I want you to put on the vertical foregrip for the horizontal recoil control. Then head over to your magazine, and I want you to go down to extended mag 2. This is going to give you 60 rounds. And then lastly, head over to your fire mods, and I want you to put on overpressured. This is going to help with that bullet velocity. This gun will have a 1,444 bullet velocity, which means this is practically going to be hit scan. Now, if you want, you can definitely change this to recoil springs, and watch, it's going to have no recoil. Here we go. Let's test it out. Yeah, as you can see, this gun, it's going to have no recoil. You got to just make sure you can see what you're looking at. But apart from that, this gun's gonna slap. Now, last but certainly not least, this is a new gun that just got added to the game. This is the LC10. This thing kills incredibly fast. Here are the attachments. First and foremost, I want you to go to the muzzle and put on the compensator. This is gonna give you that vertical recoil control. Then for the barrel, I want you to put on the long barrel. Once you unlock more attachments, I would probably put on the gain to his barrel here, but the long barrel is still really good. Then for the underbarrel, I want you to put on the vertical foregrip. This is gonna help with that horizontal recoil control. For magazine, put on the extended mag 1 for now, but once you're able to unlock the extended mag 2, make sure to put that one on. And then lastly, you know, when it comes to SMGs, you want to put on the ergonomic grip. This is going to help you with dive fire speed, slide fire speed, aim down sight speed, and jumping aim down sight speed. Now let's try it in the firing range. Look at this thing. Yeah, this thing does not move. The gun even has the OG iron sights from back in the day. I actually think this one's gonna be meta, so get used to it. The LC10 is back, baby. Let me know whether you guys like the new Season 4 update and whether you like these changes or not, and then let me know what you guys think is the meta down below.